Today, we'll show you 10 singers who plagiarized songs from other artists. We'll take a look at which music stars found themselves in the middle of a storm of criticism when they were accused of copying the lyrics and melodies of others, as well as being harshly questioned for profiting off the work of past musicians. Let's watch it. It's fascinating. Miley Cyrus. Since the former Disney star released Flowers on January 13, 2023, coinciding with Liam Hemsworth's 33rd birthday, the song has garnered praise, shattered records, and received nominations at the Billboard Music Awards, the Brit Awards, and even the Grammys. Now, the song is back in the news, but not for a new award or achievement. It's due to a lawsuit filed against Miley for allegedly copying Bruno Mars's 2013 hit, When I Was Your Man. While Bruno Mars is not a plaintiff in the lawsuit, Tempo Music Investments owns part of the copyright to the song in the United States after purchasing the rights from credited co-writer Philip Lawrence. Tempo Music, which holds the copyright to When I Was Your Man, has filed a lawsuit against Miley, claiming that Flowers infringes on the copyright of their song. According to the lawsuit, both songs share musical and structural elements that are too similar, suggesting that Flowers is a copy of their song. Music critics and fans began analyzing both songs in detail, comparing melodies, chords, and lyrics. Some found notable similarities, while others argued that the differences were enough to consider both songs original works. Miley Cyrus and her legal team have yet to make an official statement regarding the lawsuit. However, many fans have come to the singer's defense, arguing that the similarities are superficial and that the music industry is full of songs with common elements. They also point out the thematic differences between the two songs. Flowers is a feminist anthem about empowerment, while When I Was Your Man is a romantic ballad. Despite the accusations, the popularity of Flowers hasn't been significantly affected. The song remains a global hit, and Miley continues to hold her status as one of the most influential figures in pop music. Dua Lipa. The English singer quickly rose to become one of the biggest pop stars of her generation, but her journey hasn't been without controversy. In fact, her music has faced a storm of criticism due to multiple plagiarism accusations that threaten to overshadow her career. Just in 2023, 2 lawsuits rocked her public image. The first came from reggae band Article Sound System, who claimed that the hit single Levitating copied the lyrics of their song Live Your Life. Although the judge dismissed the lawsuit for lack of compelling evidence, the scandal didn't end there. Shortly after, Dua Lipa found herself caught in another whirlwind of criticism. This time, musician Bosco Cantella accused her of using a talkbox recording without authorization in the same song she was previously sued over. As of now, the judge hasn't ruled on this case, but the trial has further fueled doubts about the originality of her music. And the list doesn't end there. Her single, Break My Heart, was called out for having a disturbingly similar melody to I Need You Tonight, released in 1987 by the Australian band INXS. At the same time, Prisoner, a collaboration with Miley Cyrus, was criticized for blatantly copying parts of the chorus from Olivia Newton-John's Physical, as well as borrowing the melody from Kiss's I Was Made for Lovin' You. The repeated presence of these accusations not only raises questions about Dua Lipa's creativity, but also about the state of a music industry that seems increasingly devoid of fresh, authentic ideas. Taylor Swift. In a lawsuit that shook the pop music world, R&B singer Jessie Graham demanded a staggering $42 million, claiming that Taylor stole the chorus from his song Haters Gonna Hate to turn it into the hook for her mega hit, Shake It Off. While the melodies of both songs don't show obvious similarities, Graham insisted that the iconic phrase belonged to him, and that without his contribution, the song that catapulted Swift to the top of the charts would never have existed. The artist, whose album Sexy Ladies went largely unnoticed by the public, firmly asserted that his chorus was the heart of his song, and that he couldn't sit back while someone else used it to reap fame and fortune. If I hadn't written Haters Gonna Hate, then Shake It Off wouldn't exist, the artist stated, adding that he initially considered not filing a lawsuit, but ultimately decided to defend what he believed was rightfully his. Despite his insistence that the song was his property, the justice system did not side with him. As soon as the lawsuit reached a judge, it was dismissed in the blink of an eye. The court also deemed the $42 million figure absurd and concluded that there wasn't enough evidence of plagiarism. Although Jesse Graham was allowed to file a new lawsuit if he found more evidence, he never appeared in court again, thus avoiding what many consider a second public embarrassment. Meanwhile, Taylor Swift continues to bask in the massive success of Shake It Off, with this controversy not affecting her status as the biggest star in music. Coldplay. In 2008, the band led by Chris Martin released Viva La Vida, a song that quickly became an anthem and, for many, the best track of their career. Winner of the Grammy Award for Best Song, it dominated the charts for weeks, but it wasn't long before it became the subject of a controversial lawsuit. Upon hearing the track, guitarist Joe Satriani was struck by the astonishing similarity to his song If I Could Fly, recorded 4 years earlier. Satriani wasn't the only one to notice. His friends and family inundated him with messages pointing out that Coldplay had plagiarized his work. Faced with such a deluge of comments, the guitarist decided to take action and sued Coldplay and their label Capitol Records for copyright infringement. Initially, he tried to resolve the conflict amicably, but his efforts were ignored. In fact, the English band seemed to believe that silence and inaction would protect them from the scandal. When it seemed inevitable that the case would end up in court, both parties reached an out-of-court settlement, the details of which were never revealed. Despite this, Viva La Vida continued to play on the radio and sell millions of copies without giving any credit to Satriani as a songwriter. This fueled speculation that Coldplay and Capitol Records paid him a hefty sum to withdraw the lawsuit and allow the song to continue its successful journey. Despite all the trouble, Viva La Vida surpassed 9 million copies sold and remains one of the band's most iconic tracks, though it is forever shadowed by this controversy. Avril Lavigne. In the early 2000s, the Canadian artist dominated the music scene with her style that fused the nostalgia of 70s punk with modern pop melodies, making her one of the biggest stars of the time. One of her biggest hits during this period was Girlfriend, a single that reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 7 million copies worldwide. The overwhelming success of her single did not go unnoticed by the Rubinoos, a power pop band from the 70s. They claimed that Avril Lavigne's hit bore too many similarities to their 1979 track, I Wanna Be Your Boyfriend. In 2007, band leader Tommy Dunbar and co-writer James Gangwer filed a lawsuit in a California court, alleging that the Canadian star, along with producer Dr. Luke and RCA Records, had infringed on their copyright. Dunbar and Gangwer asserted that it wasn't just a coincidence, pointing out that both the lyrics and the rhythm of the two songs were identical. Meanwhile, Avril vigorously defended herself, stating that the accusations were unfounded. Just weeks later, the dispute was resolved through an out-of-court settlement, the amount of which was never disclosed. Many believe that the members of the Rubinoos received a substantial sum to drop the case, allowing Lavigne to avoid having the plaintiffs credited as co-writers of Girlfriend. Otherwise, she would have had to admit to the plagiarism that led to one of her most iconic songs. Enrique Iglesias. Bailando is the explosive hit by Enrique Iglesias featuring the Cuban duo Gente de Zona that dominated the charts in the summer of 2014, becoming one of the most danced to and listened to songs worldwide. Not everyone shared the same enthusiasm for the hit, especially Peruvian singer Pelo D'Ambrosio, who claimed that this song bore a concerning resemblance to his track Lejos de Ti. He detailed that the intro and the chorus were not mere coincidences, but rather a plagiarism of his work. The Peruvian artist, whose song had been covered over 1,000 times, was surprised that neither Enrique Iglesias nor his collaborators reached out to him for permission or recognition for using his lyrics. According to him, they opted to plagiarize it in the most brazen way possible. Despite his indignation, the singer-songwriter pointed out that he did not want to take away from Bailando's merit. He simply asked for acknowledgement of his contribution. Although D'Ambrosio sought support from those who covered his song, his complaint never went beyond a public grievance, and he did not file a formal lawsuit. Over time, the Peruvian artist declared that the matter was closed, and that he did not intend to harm the careers of Enrique Iglesias and Gente de Zona. Still, It is surprising that his claim had an unexpected benefit, as the music video for Lejos de Ti experienced a huge resurgence, accumulating over 73 million views on YouTube. Demi Lovato. In 2016, she found herself embroiled in a legal controversy when she was accused of plagiarizing musical elements from the song Infinity Guitars by the pop duo Sleigh Bells. The lawsuit, filed on August 22nd in a California court, alleged that Demi copied essential parts of the song and incorporated them into Stars, a track from the deluxe edition of her fifth album titled Confident. Sleigh Bells members Alexis Krauss and Derek Miller stated that a simple comparison between the two songs showed at least a substantial similarity. Specifically, they mentioned the rhythmic structure of claps and bass drum in a 3/4 measure, followed by a pause, and then the bass drum returning offbeat with the claps. According to the plaintiffs, this key combination was repeated throughout Stars, establishing an undeniable connection between the two works. For their part, Lovato's representatives defended that Stars did not use any samples from Infinity Guitars, and that the singer had not directly participated in the song's production, as she merely provided her vocals over music created by other songwriters. Despite both parties' statements, the dispute did not reach the courts, as they reached an out-of-court settlement in 2017. The terms of the deal were never revealed, nor was it clear whether Demi Lovato actually plagiarized Sleigh Bells' work. The Beatles. The Liverpool band is widely recognized as one of the great innovators in music history, but even legends are not exempt from controversy, as happened to John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and the rest when they became involved in a plagiarism case brought by none other than one of their idols, Chuck Berry. It's said that plagiarism is the sincerest form of flattery, but this rock and roll legend could not ignore the similarities between his 1958 single You Can't Catch Me and Come Together, one of the Beatles' biggest hits released in 1969. The controversy arose when Lennon, while creating the song, included the line, "Here Come Old Flat Top," which is identical to a part of the lyrics written by Chuck Berry. Interestingly, Lennon wrote "Come Together" for the political campaign of California gubernatorial candidate Timothy Leary. But after the politician's arrest, he reworked the song with the phrase that led to the unexpected conflict with one of his musical heroes. Once "Come Together" hit the airwaves, Chuck Berry's lawyers acted quickly, filing a lawsuit against the Beatles for copyright infringement. Rather than take the case to court and prolong the dispute, both parties reached an out-of-court settlement, where the Liverpool quartet paid a significant undisclosed sum, thus avoiding a trial and acknowledging Chuck Berry as a co-writer of the song. Nirvana. After the overwhelming success of Smells Like Teen Spirit, the grunge band faced a crossroads that could define the future of their career. What would be their next single? The ever insightful and aware of musical influences, Kurt Cobain pushed for In Bloom to be the next release because he feared that Come As You Are had too many similarities to 80s, a track by the English post-punk group Killing Joke. However, both the record label and the rest of the band took another direction, deciding that Come As You Are would be the next hit, ignoring the vocalist's warnings about potential copyright issues. The decision quickly had consequences. Soon after, representatives of Killing Joke sent Nirvana a legal notice detailing copyright over 80s, claiming that Nirvana's song had more than just a simple influence. In any case, the conflict did not progress much further, as some sources close to the band indicated that the lawsuit was to be formalized in 1994, but Kurt Cobain passed away on April 5th of that year. In light of this tragedy, Killing Joke members withdrew their claim as a sign of respect for the surviving members of Nirvana. What is most surprising is that the tensions left no permanent scars, as happened in 2003 when former Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl worked with Killing Joke, drumming on their self-titled album, which helped them make a comeback after nearly a decade of absence from the music scene. Ed Sheeran. In May 2023, the music industry turned its gaze to a federal court in New York, where one of the year's most high-profile trials took place. This time, the heirs of Marvin Gaye accused the English singer of plagiarizing the classic Let's Get It On for his hit single from 2014, Thinking Out Loud. The legal battle not only captured public attention, but also raised key principles about creativity and copyright in modern music. The plaintiffs allege that Sheeran had stolen the harmonic progressions, melodic elements, and characteristic rhythms of Marvin Gaye's masterpiece, known as the Prince of Soul. In response to the accusation, Ed Sheeran's lawyers countered, arguing that the lawsuit lacked merit since the chords and rhythmic patterns in question were common and generic elements in pop music, impossible to protect by copyright. The judge agreed with this reasoning, explaining that basic musical progressions and structures could not be monopolized. Additionally, Marvin Gaye's airs failed to demonstrate that the combination of the melody in Let's Get It On was unique enough to warrant legal protection. To defend his case and put the accusations to rest once and for all, Ed Sheeran picked up his guitar in the middle of the trial and played before the court, demonstrating that his creation was not a plagiarism of the 1973 classic. The Englishman also took the opportunity to emphasize that many pop songs follow similar formulas, citing the striking similarity between the Beatles' Let It Be and Bob Marley's No Woman, No Cry, thereby defending the shared nature of music. Now tell me, do you know of other singers who have been accused of copying songs? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Here are two options that you'll surely love.